Good evening. The Who's today were on at Wyong. It was a ATC meeting transferred to Wyong. Everything that was in the market there today more or less won. Very well backed, most runners, and we got very poor percentage, except for one or two races. They were losing figures in most of the 7 races. Now, the Who's on Sunday were also won at Wyong, and on Sunday the track was dead, upgraded to good, and the rail on Sunday was in the normal position. And interestingly, there were no leaders that won on Sunday, but I'm not going to put that down to the wind was exactly how it was today. I'm not going to put that down. The track was against leaders because there were runners that stood along the fence. Bowman, horseman Huey, rode a couple of winners that he sat on a short price favourite, got right behind the lead and got a split turning for home, and on another winner, drawing wide, going back, finding the fence and railing inside most of the runners on the turn. So I'm not going to put it down to the track was against leaders. It was a different story today. The track was on fire. Just going back quickly to Wyong on the 17th on Sunday. There's nothing to report about the first race. 3 runners crossed the line together. The winner was backed, Kiambi Boy, but as much as $9, only started 8. There was the pros being a Sunday, as we know, were out on the harbour on Sundays, and it was a tough little meeting. The second race on Sunday, it was won by the Avery. John O'Shea trained, horseman Huey Bowman riding, romancing to win, and it sat third on the fence behind the leader. The leader ran second in that race. Shadows, they were first and second pick. The third race, the favourite again, Hugh Bowman, he settled down last on it, like he did it, settled well back, but a bit wide at Gosford. Paso del Prado, and it joined in on the turn, and it was all over on the turn. It went away and won by 1 3/4 lengths, eased down. It's going well, that horse, at the moment. It was reached for by the bookies, $1.80 out to $2.20. Fairly hard to lay. What did they back in that race? Well, nothing really. Race 4. Here we saw Bowman win again on another O'Shea trained runner. This was the one that I said was eased from a wide alley back to past midfield, and then came along the 18 pence. Sea Warrior from an outside alley, ridden by the Pumper, trained by Gerald Ryan. Unfortunately, when he found the lead, crossing from the wide alley, the Pumper, of course, who was up there to drive him mad? I own the lead, Grossier, and it finished up beating him, by the way. Finished up putting its nose in front, ridden by Neil Payne, and they went very fast up front, that pair. And Bowman, as I say, he was drawn on the outside of Sea Warrior, but he went back, found the fence, and railed inside. Plenty of runners turning for home, and was able to run past the other pair near the line, rounding them up. It's a fairly strong win, but the other pair did go fast. Race 5, this was won by Bolero Dance. It finally broke through. It sat in the 1-1 position, and it trotted in. A poor performance here by Faulkner, number 2. It moved up as if it was going to join in on the turn, Faulkner, but it dropped out. The winner was by far the best run there, and I laid it very well at $5. Opened up 4, got out to 5, taken for whatever you wanted, but it started $5.50. Faulkner was the best runner in that back runner in that race, from $4.60 to about $3.80. Starting favourite was Knowing, who sat outside the lead, having every chance, at around about the $3.20 mark. The next race was won by Monte Cassius, who was last at one stage in the event. It finished up rounding them up down the outside. The Pumper on Lagira, who was extremely well backed in this race, 2s out to $3, out to $3.50, back in to start $3. He was back in third last position. He took off and went around the field and found the fence with about 6 furlongs to go, at the 1200 metre mark, and he pulled up lame Lagira, beaten 4.6 lengths. And Monty Cassius came from well back, rounded them up, and it was always firm in the market. Only opened up $6, got out to $8.50, but back into about $8. You could lay it at the $8.50. There were a few other runners backed in that race. The winner wasn't a bad win. Then we came to race 7, and it's always easy after the ball. You could have easily found this when a Kimberley Kid. It was when you looked at it after this race. Of course, they went fairly fast up front. A Real Prince, who finished up running 10.9 lengths last, 11 lengths last. It crossed, ridden by Jenny Duggan, and went really quick in the lead, with Luther on its outside, and trapped 3 wide all the way was Mount Verdi. So it did a fairly good job to stick on for second position, but the pace was on all the way in this race, and coming from second last and just easing off their heels was Kimberley Kid, ridden by Jay Collette, turning for home, and it was trotting, and it sprinted very quickly and ran past them to win by 1.3 lengths. Saint Labomba, it had its chance. There are a few runners that got slight interference that copped slight interference in this race, but not enough to stop them from winning. And there were quite a few runners in this race that put their hand up and said, "I'm fairly ordinary." And then we came to the last, and this filly trained by Clary Connors, Impetuous. His runs have been very spaced. He's obviously got this horse flying now. It only won by 2.5 lengths, but Huey sat up at the half furlong mark, and they returned this $1.60. You couldn't get $1.60 when they jumped. It just sat back looking at the 3 leaders, and it won very well. Wherever by the same time, the runners that are beat, including unfortunately the second horse Arrowette, who led and held on for second, beaten 2.5, got a very easy lead up the front, and but they're fairly average runners, flattering the winner's run. But by the same token, wherever it starts next start, which will be in town, it will be a short price favourite, Impetuous. Then we came to today at Wyong, and the difference with the rail today, it was the track was good and it was on fire. They did have the wind assisting them down the straight like they did on Sunday. Maybe it was a little bit stronger today. When they're coming down the side at Wyong with all the trees down the side, the leaders aren't copying the wind. Of course, there's protection from the tree line, but in the wind, as soon as they swung for home, it helped them up the straight. That obviously had something to do with the fast times that they were running, plus the track was in good nick. The difference in the rail today, it was 2 metres out from the 1350 until the 210 metre mark, where the cutaway came into play. And this first race, Alistine, it broke the course record. It ran 77 at 117.63, and came home as last 6 and 34.78. It went straight to the lead, and it won by 2 lengths. Coming from 4th position in the second hole was Cartini, but the winner bolted in 2 starts ago. I suppose this runner card, this winner Alistine, held on a little bit better than we all think last start at Rose Hill, and of course the start before that at Kembla, you couldn't win on the fence that day, and it went straight to the lead, and it trotted in against the bias. So it's very easy now. The poor run in this race was General Sniper, who sat up outside the lead and finished up dropping out, running second last. Now, in this race, we only gave 97. On the screen, they said 106.5. These were the flux. General Sniper went from $4.60 out to $5.50. Written in the stars, well, it's very hard to lay. I was $4.60 when they jumped. He went from $3 to $4.60. Did lay it for something. Alistine, $4 out to $5.50. Ware's Red Feathers went from $3.50 out to $4.80. It started $3.80 and favourite. The next runner, Cartini, very well backed, $6.50 into $5, back out to $5. Starting that price, $5, and Universal Exchange was 40 out to 80, taken back into about $71. The winner trotted in, and as I say, broke the course record. But up near the lead was the place to be today. So when you're doing your form, you've got to make allowances for those who won and were up near the lead. It was a bit hard to run on from behind. The second race, well, we saw the Gay Waterhouse train, Crimson Arrow, what they call it, not Arrow, it's Arrow. It went up. It didn't have a price, although someone had 900 a monkey, 1300 or a monkey off me, or 1400 or a monkey off me as they jumped at $3.80, and it opened up 11.08, $2.30 favourite, and got out to $3.80, and it sat third on the fence from barrier one, and when they turned for home, leading on the fence was JK. It hung a bit, and it was able to either, I just forget, get inside it or around it, one of the two. But sitting outside the lead was Quartzy, number 3, and it was $3.20 out to $4, back into $3.50, starting favourite, and it was outside the lead and ridden by brilliant Brendan Abdullah. And when they turned for home, he gave it just a couple of nice little reminders with his left hand, and it ducked in, but only ducked in maybe a horse or a horse and a half. There was nothing on the inside of him when it happened. But then a few strides after that, he switched hands, and when he put the whip in the right hand, he gave it one nice reminder. It was a length behind him at the time, the winner, Crimson Arrow, and what's the difference? Crimson Arrow, and and as soon as he struck it with the whip in his right hand, it ducked out very badly, and he stayed in the saddle, but finished up getting beat a half a neck. The Quartzy, which is a bit one-paced, it also hung towards the line, but with the bad luck with the other one hanging, it was able to win the race. And sitting in fourth position and running third was the second starting equal second favourite, Mune Falsa. It was $4 out to $4.60, back into about $3. Well, it started $3.80. Yes, equal second pick with the winner. Now in this race, losing figures again for the captains. 97% we only got in the marketplace. On the screen for the robots, they said there was 103%. Now we got to race 3, and here in the marketplace, just a touch under the 100, or call it 199 or 100. There was only about 3% on the top slot board, about 103, and this was won by the Avery. I laid some good bets against it, 4,500 to 3,000 at one stage. After $2.70 was bet, we put it up evening money on the field, Almighty Charge. I hadn't jerried by this time that the fence was as good, and leading was as good as it was, and of course Almighty Charge, trained by Gay, ridden by terrific Tommy Berry. I owned the lead. It found the lead. Sitting on its outside was Fine Bubbles. Directly behind them was Shea Harmony on the fence. Outside it, Hoy Bell, and then then there was a good gap to the 50 to 1 chance, Santa Monica. And when they turned for home, terrific Tommy, even though he dictated in front to a nicety, and he was able to get a length and a half break, easing around their heels. Was Hoybell, who finished up only being beaten the long head, and a nose away, a short head away in between them was Fine Bubbles, with Shea Harmony having every chance, beaten 1.7 lengths. As I say, the winner, we gave as much as $2.70, and they started $2.40 after opening up evens. They kill you at one stage for the $2.50 for whatever you wanted. Then we found, went to race 4. Well done. And there was 102.2 on the screen, and in the marketplace only 96%. And this race was won by the visitor from Melbourne. It's had 3 stars, started in Melbourne, brought it up here to Sydney where it went fairly ordinary, spelled and down in Melbourne and resumed with a win. He dropped his whip here, proper Peter Roble, at the 100-metre mark after he'd only given it one cut with the Persuader. It was extremely well backed, this runner, going straight to the lead. As I said, there was only 96% in the marketplace. These were the flux very quickly. Fob Dubai went from $4 to $9, back into $8.50. Now, the favourite, Prince Rahi, it opened up $3, got to $3.20, started $2.90. Replicates went from $4.60 out to $7, back into $6.50. Weepoo, now Weepoo, it was $4.60 out to $6, and there was a poultice put on it. It was back into $4.80 at one stage, Weepoo, but believe it or not, it started $7.50. And the winner, as I say, was very well backed, Basilic. It went up a $4.40 chance, got out to $4.80, but only started $3.80. Ashanti Queen, it was 16 out to 21, back into 16. I was 21 when they jumped again. And Tenderloin, they took $81, was 40 out to 81, back into 50. Now, it went straight to the lead. Replicates on its outside was Weepoo, and tucked in behind them on the fence from barrier 1 was the winner, and on its outside the favourite Prince Rahi. And when they turned for home, Peter Roble, proper Peter Roble, he got the split in between the leader and Weepoo, and went away and won by 1.5 lengths. It's a fairly long striding, seems to be a very strong galloper, and it'll improve again from this run. It could possibly win in town. That's about all I'd say there. The winner did get a good run. Race 5, they said there was 100.4 only on the flux screen, the poor robots. But in the marketplace, for the captains, well, there was only 95. These were the flux. Galliano, which Tommy Terrific Berry said it led on the fence, so its run has been poor. He said it's very one-paced. They ran their hand over at the vet. He said he couldn't find anything wrong with it. It went from $4. It was $5 on my board when they jumped. I did lay it. Maya Mira, it opened up $3.30. It got out to $4.80. It started $3.80 only, extremely well backed. Like a Bitter Lippy, unfortunately it missed a kick and wanted to hang in the run. It opened up $6.50, got out to as much as $8, but only started $6, extremely well backed. Now this favourite, Tremac, we put it up $3.40. Now that was taken straight away, and at one stage this runner was into $2.90 or $2.80. It was $2.80 Tremac at one stage. If you had up, they killed you for $3.40, $3.30, $3.20, $3.10, $3 and $2.90 taken. Extremely well backed, but it started $3.50. Well, it started on my board. It started $3.50, returned $3.30. Now Cisco will do it to you every time. It's a gay deceiver. It travels well in the run, but when pressure is applied, of course, Cisco, the balloon goes empty. And it was, I didn't want to miss it. I bet as much as, I think at least $15. I might have bet $16. I think I gave $15. I think I gave 16 to at least lose 5,000 at one stage. I did lay it at 14, 13, 12, and they even took the $11 off me. So I'm glad Cisco didn't win. And Continental Flyer, it was the first runner back, $11 into $8 at one stage, but it started $12. We only gave 95, and as I said, Galliano, it led on the fence, and Christian Reith on the winner, Tremac, even though it got the real good run last start at Canterbury, got the favours being right behind the leader on the fence and things falling into place. It was improved today. It's fairly lightly raced, and when it sat outside the lead, when they turned for home, Cisco, who was on his back all the way, was travelling very well, moved up, but it couldn't go on, and it was left up to Continental Flyer, who was third on the fence, slightly held up turning for home to run second, and the winner won by a length and a half. It was doing better than anything on the line. They're fairly average runners. The winner would be the only runner to follow out of the race. Race 6, on the screen they said there was 104.6 in the marketplace, only 96%, and they crossed the line here together with with slight margins between about 4 of them when they hit the line. There was only about 0.9 of a length or something between the 4 runners when they hit the line. Who led in this race? The good Mark, ridden by the Pumper. It finished up running last, so its run was poor. He said it was very disappointing. It pulled a bit on him on the run. It's no good. Outside it was a very well-backed runner, Sansui and Thrawing. It opened up $7 and we got it out to as much as 10. They killed you for 10, 9 and 8. It started $7.50 and it sat outside the lead and just failed. Trapped 3 wide, unfortunately, was this favourite, Projectile. Of course, Joe McDonald's instructions were, trained by Gay, to go forward and find the lead. And he said that it didn't miss the kick, but he said it found a while to get going. Didn't show a lot of natural pace like all of Gay's horses do. And he had to do a bit of work to go up. And he said he didn't press on for the lead because he would have had to have made too much use of it. And he sat 3 wide outside the leaders. Tucked away third on the fence was Deter, who had every possible chance and dropped out, so its run was ordinary. Outside it was Lewis, who got struck on the nose with the whip towards the finish and got slightly held up, but it had its chance. And at one stage, the winner, Bronny Express, was only 1 off the fence, but when McDonald had gone around them, of course, Father Schofield, being the good rider that he is, he moved up and got on the back of it in a 3 wide trail and moved up on the turn to more or less get to the lead and fought it out all the way down the straight with the second horse, Sansui, drawing, and was able to win by a whisker on the line. It came from back in the field, but along the fence, the bottom one, Narasima, I suppose that helped it. Coming from more or less off the winner's back was Champagne Lifestyle, who was in the worst going last start, so its run was improved, which you knew it would be. And another runner here who sat back on the fence in about second last position, making up a lot of ground right down the outside, finding the line well, was Sir Dylan. We reached for it, Sir Dylan. It went up at $11 chance, 10 to 1, and we got it out to as much as $26 at one stage. It started $21, hard to get, but it made up a lot of ground. Run this race over again, and you would get quite a few different results. The favourite, Projectile, well, the pros, they said, how much do you hear? We put it up $3, got to $3.20. They killed you for it. They killed you for the $3.10 and also $3. And then towards the finish, $2.90, $2.80. I did lay it at one stage at $2.60 for a good bit of section. It did start $2.80 on my board, and it was always easy to lay. Plus a few other runners in this race, but I must admit this was a huge result for the captains because the winner, Bronte Express, we put it up second favourite at $4.40, and it was $8 begging at the death. It went from a 7 to 2 chance out to a 7 to 1 chance, and there were quite a few runners backed in this race, but the Grumble and Grunters and the pros, they must have put a line through Bronte Express, who of course was ridden a bit upside down last start at Kembla, but by the same token up near the lead was the place to be. Shea Harmony, who went around earlier in the day, I suppose didn't make its form look any good, because Shea Harmony went past it easily at Kembla, and Shea Harmony had every chance in an earlier race today. So that could be part of the reason. But as I say, it was a good result for the captains. Race 7, you think this thing, now this was another course record was broken here, just amplifying how up near the lead and on the fence was the place to be today. I'm talking about Watch the Magic, who of course was on the inside at Warwick Farm last start. Its form up around the Taree area had been very good before it came to town, and it went really fast in the lead at Warwick Farm, and it found the lead again today. It wasn't ridden by Jenny Duggan. She was a bit sick, Jenny, and it was ridden by Sean Guymer, who took her mounts today. So, and he's a very capable rider. Now, what would I say here? Oh, well, first of all, on the screen, they said there was 107.3 in the marketplace, about 4 less, around about the 103 mark. These were the flux. Esprit Lad went from $6.50 out to $11 back into 9. Now, Double Five, the last runner they backed, and did they back it? It was $7.50 out to $9 and only started 6. They'd even take the $6.50 off towards the finish. Air-Don was liable at $9 at one stage, but it started around about $9. It was $7 out to 9, back into 8, back out to 9. Passed the test, was labelled at $7.50 and $8 at one stage. It was $6.50 out to 8, back into 7, but started at $8.50. School of Turin opened up $4, got out to $4.60, and at one stage was into $3.80. I think a late 6,400 to 2,000 at one stage at $4.20, and it started $4.40. The winner, Watch the Magic, it started $4.80 on my board. $4.80 was taken. You never saw $5. It opened up the $3.50 favourite, got out to as much as $4.80, back into $4.40 at one stage. So it was backed, but got back to start $4.80. The next runner, Loose and Lovely, it was 21 out to 81. Then we had Rossanova. It was liable. It was $15 out to 19, back into 15, but back out to about 17 or 18 towards the finish. And Time to Exceed, who didn't want to race today and hung badly on its rider, having his first start from coming from Queensland from a spell. Time to Exceed was very firm in the market, always liable at the $12 mark, and started only about $10 or $11, fairly hard to get. But as I said, up near the front was the place to be, and this runner, Watch the Magic, was taken straight to the lead, which was from the inside alley, was more or less going to be the scenario, and it led from a Spree Lad coming across, sitting on its outside, tucked in third behind it from barrier 2, was past the test, trapped 3 wide, Double Five. That was the end of it, because it was pushing up on inside at School of Turin, keeping it out there, and you couldn't be wide on this track today, but it didn't matter whether it was wide or not. Turning for home, he was smoking his pipe, Sean Guymer on the winner, and it really raced away. It won by 7 1/4 lengths, running 55.53 for the 1,000 metres. That is going, that's getting along, and he came home his last 600 in 32.63, a new course record. That was the meeting. You put the two meetings together with the rail position and what I've said. I don't know what I'm talking about. If you listen to me, you'll finish up going scatty. So anyway, I hope if you had any luck there today, if you did have a bet laying them or punting, I hope you had some luck. Newcastle's on tomorrow. I won't be there. Canterbury Friday night and Warwick Farm on Saturday. Good evening.